My wife said, "Either we have an open marriage or I want a divorce." After 15 years of marriage and 2 kids, so I said okay, thinking I was saving our family. 24 hours later, I found out who she really wanted to be with, and it destroyed everything I thought I knew about my life. I cannot sleep. It is 2:30 a.m. and I am sitting in my car outside a 7-Eleven because I cannot stand being in my own house right now. My hands are shaking typing this on my phone. I feel like the biggest fool who ever lived. I am Ryan 42M, married to Lindsay 39F for 15 years. We have Sophia 14 and Tyler 12. I thought we had a good life. Nice house in the suburbs. I make decent money in software engineering. Lindsay stays home with the kids. Perfect family, right? Wrong. 2 months ago, Lindsay started getting weird, distant, always on her phone, secretive about who she was texting. When I would ask what was wrong, she'd snap at me. "Nothing's wrong, Ryan. God, you are so paranoid." But something was definitely wrong. I could feel it in my gut. Last week, she sat me down in our kitchen after the kids went to bed. "I need to talk to you about something important," she said. My stomach dropped. I thought she was going to tell me she was sick or someone had died. Instead, she said she was bored with our life. "Bored?" I asked. "With what?" "With us," she said. "With this life. We got married too young. I never got to experience anything else. I want an open marriage." I literally laughed because I thought she was joking. She wasn't laughing back. "You are serious?" I asked. "Dead serious," she said. "I have couples do this successfully. It can actually strengthen marriages. This isn't what marriage means." That is when she dropped the bomb. "Either we try this, or I want a divorce." Just like that. 15 years, 2 kids, and she is threatening to blow up our entire family unless I let her sleep with other people. "I love you," she said, "but I need to explore who I am." I was terrified. I have seen what divorce does to fathers. You become a weekend visitor in your own kids' lives. I would lose half my time with Sophia and Tyler, probably lose the house, pay massive child support. Lindsay knew exactly which buttons to push, so I caved. We have rules. No bringing people to our house. No shared friends. Safe sex always. And family time is sacred. No outside relationships interfere with our kids. She agreed so fast it should have been a red flag. "Thank you for being so understanding," she said, hugging me. "This is going to be good for us. You will see." I felt sick to my stomach, but told myself maybe she was right. Maybe she just needed to get this out of her system. The next night she got all dressed up, new dress I had never seen. Full makeup, hair done. "Going out with some friends," she said, kissing my cheek, like nothing was different. I stayed home with the kids, helped with homework, made dinner, gave baths. I pretended to be asleep when she showered and got in bed next to me. I wanted to throw up. This was my wife, the mother of my children, and she had just been with another man. I didn't sleep for 3 days. Every time I closed my eyes, I pictured her with someone else, touching her, kissing her, doing things to her that I thought were just for us. When I tried to talk about how I was feeling, she got annoyed. "This is what you agreed to, Ryan," she said. "I am exploring, just like we discussed. You said you were okay with this, but I wasn't okay with it." I was dying inside. Every night she went out, I felt like another piece of me was being torn away. The kids started asking questions. "Why is mommy always going out?" Tyler asked. "Are you guys getting divorced?" Sophia wanted to know. To lie to my own children to protect their mother's reputation. Mommy's just having. The lies made me feel sick. This went on for 6 weeks. 2 or 3 nights a week, sometimes more. Always the same pattern. Get dressed up, disappear for hours, come home reeking of sex. I was handling everything at home while she lived her fantasy life. Then last night something happened that changed everything. I found out who she has been seeing, and it is so much worse than I imagined. The open marriage was never about exploration or freedom. It was about something much more calculated. And I have been the biggest sucker alive. I cannot tell you guys the whole story right now because I am still processing it, and I don't know what I am going to do. But what I discovered about her real agenda, is going to destroy everything I thought I knew about the last 15 years of my life. Update 1. I have been pacing around my house for 2 hours trying to figure out how to write this. You guys asked for the full story and I guess I need to get it out. But typing this is making my hands shake again. So remember how I said I found out who Lindsay's been seeing? Yeah, it is Blake Henderson, her high school boyfriend. The guy she was madly in love with before we met. The one she used to cry about when she had had too much wine on our anniversaries. I found out impossible. Lindsay left her phone on the kitchen counter yesterday morning when she went to shower. It kept buzzing with texts, and Tyler asked if he should bring it to her. I said I would handle it, thinking it might be something important about the kids. The screen lit up with notifications from Blake saying, "Cannot wait to see you tonight, baby." At first, I thought it was spam or someone texting the wrong number. Then I saw more messages. "Last night was incredible. When can we do that thing again? Your husband doesn't suspect anything, right?" I stood there in my kitchen, holding my wife's phone, reading her texts with another man while she showered upstairs, and my kids ate breakfast 10 feet away. I felt like I was going to pass out. I screenshot everything before my brain could tell me not to. Then I scrolled up to see how long this had been going on. 6 months. She had been talking to Blake for half a year before she ever mentioned the open marriage idea. The early messages were innocent. Catching up, reminiscing about high school, complaining about their marriages. Then it got flirtier. Catching if we had stayed together. "You were the one that got away. I think about you sometimes." By March, they were sexting. By April, they were meeting for coffee that turned into hotel visits. And in May, Lindsay came home and demanded an open marriage because she needed to explore who she was. The audacity. I put her phone back exactly where she had left it and went to work in a daze. Couldn't concentrate on anything. I kept replaying conversations from the past few months, looking for clues I had missed. Her suddenly caring about her appearance, new clothes, working out more. Self-improvement, she had called it. The worst part. She had been complaining about me to him. "Ryan's so boring. He never wants to try anything new. I feel trapped." Blake was married too, has 2 kids of his own. But according to their messages, his wife was a frigid bitch who didn't understand him. Sound familiar? These 2 middle-aged idiots were having a teenage romance using their families as cover. The open marriage wasn't about Lindsay exploring her sexuality. It was about getting permission to sleep with her ex-boyfriend without technically cheating. When she came home from book club that night, which was obviously another lie, I was waiting in the kitchen with a beer and a poker face. "How was book club?" I asked. "Great," she said. "We are reading this amazing novel about second chances." I didn't confront her. I don't know why. Maybe I was in shock. Maybe I was hoping I would misunderstood something. Maybe I was just being a coward. Instead, I said, "That sounds interesting. What is it about?" And listened to her lie to my face for 20 minutes. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling while she slept next to me. My wife of 15 years, the mother of my children. The woman I had built my entire adult life around. She had been using me as a safety net while she rekindled her high school romance. I felt hollow, not angry yet, just empty. Like everything I thought I knew about my life had been erased. Was our whole marriage a lie? Did she ever love me? Or was I always just the stable guy she settled for when Blake moved away? Around noon, I did something I am not proud of. I drove to the address Blake had mentioned in one of his texts. Fancy office building downtown. Henderson Real Estate Development on the directory. I sat in my car across the street like some kind of stalker, wondering what I was even doing there. He came out around 1 p.m. tall, fit, expensive suit. Looked like the kind of guy Lindsay probably should have married instead of me. The kind who knows about wine and drives a BMW. That is when it hit me. I wasn't competing with Blake. I had already lost. This wasn't about him being better than me. It was about Lindsay choosing to blow up our family for a teenage fantasy. The open marriage was just her way of having both worlds without consequences. I called my brother Mike and told him everything. He was quiet for a long time, then said, "Jesus, Ryan, you have been played. She has been cheating for months and made you thank her for it." That is exactly what happened. Mike said I needed to start documenting everything, And thinking strategically. Don't make any decisions while you are emotional, but don't let her keep playing you either. So that is what I am doing. Building a file, taking screenshots, keeping records. I don't know what I am going to do next. Part of me wants to throw the evidence in her face and watch her try to explain. Part of me wants to see how far she will take this deception, but mostly, I just feel numb. 15 years reduced to being the backup plan while she chases her high school fantasy. Update 2. It has been 7 weeks since I found those texts. 7 weeks of pretending everything's normal while my wife continues her affair right in front of me. I feel like I am losing my mind. But something happened this week that might have been a turning point. First, let me catch you up. I know that sounds weak, but Mike's been helping me think this through strategically. You need evidence, he said. You need to understand the full scope before you make any moves. So I have been documenting everything. Screenshots of texts whenever I can get to her phone. Credit card statements showing hotel charges and expensive dinners I never went to. Her calendar showing book club meetings that don't match her actual book club schedule. I have been building a file like some kind of private investigator. The worst part is how normal she acts at home. Making dinner, helping with homework, asking about my day. Like she is not living a complete double life. Last week she even suggested we plan a family vacation this summer. The cognitive dissonance is making me feel insane. I have been slowly falling apart, cannot concentrate at work, snapping at the kids over nothing. 2 weeks ago, Sophia asked if I was okay because I looked sad all the time. My 14-year-old daughter could see something was wrong even when I thought I was hiding it. That is when Mike suggested I talk to someone outside the situation. Not a therapist, he said. Just a friend who can give you perspective, but who, all our couple friends are really Lindsay's friends. My work buddies don't know about the open marriage situation. 3 weeks ago, Tyler had band practice after school. I was sitting in my car waiting for him to finish, probably looking like death warmed over, when this woman knocked on my window. "Excuse me, are you Tyler's dad?" she asked. "I am Amber, Kevin's mom. We have met a few times but never really talked." I knew who she was, divorced mom. Seemed nice. Her son Kevin's been friends with Tyler for years, but we had only exchanged polite hellos at school events. She looked concerned. "Are you all right? You seem like you have been having a rough time lately." I must have looked terrible. Hadn't been sleeping, stress written all over my face. "Just work stuff," I lied. But she didn't buy it. "I know that look," she said gently. "I had it for about a year before my divorce. Want to grab coffee and talk about it?" Something about the way she said it, not pushy, just understanding, made me say yes. We went to Starbucks down the street while the kids finished practice. I wasn't planning to tell her anything, but she started talking about her own divorce, and somehow I ended up spilling everything. "Open marriage," she said quietly. "Jesus, Ryan. How long has this been going on?" When I told her the timeline, her face changed. "That is not an open marriage. That is your wife having an affair and making you feel grateful for it." Hearing someone else say it hit different. I told her about Blake, about the texts, about feeling like I was going crazy. She listened without judgment, in exactly the right places. When I was done, she was quiet for a minute. "Can I tell you something?" she said. "My ex-husband asked for an open marriage too. Know what I found out later? He had been cheating for 6 months and wanted retroactive permission. These people follow the same playbook." My stomach dropped. "What did you do?" I asked. I said no, she replied. "Told him to choose, me or her. He chose her, so I chose myself. Best decision I ever made." She looked at me seriously. "You seem like a good guy, Ryan. You deserve someone who chooses you completely." We talked for an hour about marriage, kids, starting over. She was easy to talk to. We talked for staying in this situation. "You are not weak," she said. "But at some point, protecting them means showing them what self-respect looks like." Over the next few weeks, we started meeting for coffee regularly after band practice, just as friends, 2 divorced, divorcing parents who understood complicated situations. She never pushed me to make decisions, just listened and offered perspective from someone who had been through similar hell. Having someone who understood made me feel less crazy, someone who didn't judge me for staying or for being angry. Just support without agenda. Whatever you decide, she said. Make sure you can look your kids in the eye and know you made the right choice for everyone's long-term well-being. This week, Lindsay came home from another girls' night at 2 a.m. Hair messed up, smelling like cologne again, but instead of feeling devastated, I felt something else. Anger, maybe, or just clarity. This woman was making a fool of me and I was letting it happen. I thought about what Amber had said about self-respect, about showing my kids what that looks like. Sophia and Tyler are watching this whole situation, even if they don't understand it. What am I teaching them about marriage? About how people should treat each other? I have made a decision. I am going to give it 2 more weeks to gather the last pieces of evidence I need. Then I am confronting Lindsay, not about the open marriage, about Blake specifically, about the fact that she had been planning this affair for months before she ever asked for permission. I am scared as hell about what comes next, but I cannot keep living in this nightmare where I pretend everything's fine while my wife destroys our family. The kids deserve better. And maybe, just maybe, so do I. I confronted Lindsay 3 weeks ago. It went exactly as badly as you would expect, but also exactly as necessarily as it needed to. I am writing this from my brother's house where I have been staying since everything exploded. The kids are with Lindsay for the weekend, and for the first time in months, I can actually breathe. I had been planning what to say for days, but when the moment came, it was almost anticlimactic. She was getting ready for another night out when I walked into our bedroom with printouts of the text messages. "We need to talk," I said, dropping them on the bed. Her face went white. For about 10 seconds, she just stared at the papers, and I could see her brain working, trying to figure out how to spin this. Then she went on the attack. "You went through my personal messages? How dare you violate my privacy like that?" "Your privacy?" I said. "Lindsay, you have been with Blake for 6 months, and then convinced me to agree to an open marriage so you could keep doing it legally. We are past privacy concerns." She tried denying it at first, then minimizing it, then blaming me for being controlling. The conversation lasted 3 hours and covered 15 years of marriage. Turns out I was right. She had never gotten over Blake, had always wondered what if, and saw our marriage as settling for stability over passion. The open marriage was her way of having both without losing financial security. "I do love you," she said, crying, "but Blake and I have this connection. It is not about replacing you. It is about exploring this part of myself." I asked her point blank, "If Blake left his wife tomorrow and asked you to run away with him, would you?" Long pause. "I don't know." That is when I knew it was over. "I am not going to compete with your high school fantasy anymore." She seemed shocked that I was actually walking away, like she had expected me to keep accepting this situation forever. I packed a bag and went to Mike's house, told the kids I was staying there for a few days while Mom and I worked through some problems. Sophia's smart, she knew something major was happening. Tyler was confused but seemed relieved the tension in the house was gone. I found Blake's wife, Sarah, on Facebook and sent her a message. "I think you should know your husband has been having an affair with my wife for the past 6 months. I have proof if you want to see it." She responded within 2 hours. "Can we meet?" I have suspected something but didn't know who. We met at a coffee shop near her work. She was smaller than I had expected, seemed fragile but determined. "Blake's been distant for months," she said, "working late, protective of his phone, defensive. When I asked questions, I showed her everything. Screenshots, hotel receipts, restaurant charges." She went pale, then started crying quietly. 16 years, she whispered. "We have 16 years together and 2 kids. I felt like I was looking in a mirror, someone else's life being destroyed by the same 2 selfish people. I am filing for divorce," she said, after reviewing the evidence. "I cannot live with someone who would do this to our family." I respected her decision. Some people can work through infidelity, but some betrayals are just too deep. This felt like one of those. When Blake found out his wife knew, he panicked and called Lindsay. She came to Mike's house screaming at me like I had committed murder. "You destroyed an innocent family." I reminded her that Sarah was innocent, Blake and Lindsay were the ones who destroyed her family. "You are vindictive and cruel," she said. Sarah didn't need to know about this. "Yes, she did," I replied. "She deserved the same truth I deserved. The same choice I should have had 6 months ago." Lindsay couldn't argue with that logic, so she left in a rage. The next few days were chaos. Lindsay tried everything, begging, promising to end it with Blake, threatening to take the kids. I stayed calm and kept repeating the same thing. "You made your choice when you asked for an open marriage to cover your affair." I had already consulted with a divorce attorney. The kids took it better than expected. I was honest with them in age-appropriate ways. Sometimes grown-ups grow apart and make different choices about what they want. I told them, "This isn't anyone's fault, and it doesn't change how much I love you both." Sophia asked if I was getting divorced because of her mom's friend, Smart Kid. I said that wasn't her concern and that both parents would always be part of their lives. Tyler asked if it was because of him. Broke my heart. "No, buddy. This is between Mom and me. You and Sophia are the best things in both our lives. She understands what divorce with kids looks like, helps me think through custody logistics and emotional challenges. Just having someone who gets it has been invaluable. No judgment, no pressure, just friendship when I needed it most." Blake's marriage imploded fast. Sarah filed within a week and hired an aggressive attorney. Meanwhile, Lindsay and Blake's perfect romance isn't looking so perfect now that it is not forbidden. Turns out sneaking around was half the thrill. I am not sure what happens next. We are working on a separation agreement before filing for divorce. Lindsay wants to try marriage counseling, but I am done. You cannot unknow what I know now. The trust is completely gone. Some bridges, once burned, cannot be rebuilt. For the first time in months, I am sleeping through the night. No more lying awake, wondering where my wife is, or what she is doing. No more pretending everything's fine while my marriage disintegrates. The truth hurts like hell, but it is better than living a lie. Final update: it has been 6 months since I filed the separation papers. I am writing this from my new townhouse, while both kids do homework at the kitchen table. Everything looks different than I imagined it would, but for the first time in over a year, I feel like I can breathe freely. The legal process has been long but straightforward. We are still working through the final divorce decree. Turns out, untangling 15 years of shared finances and custody arrangements takes time, even when both parties want it over with. Our mediator estimates everything will be finalized within the next 2 months. Current arrangement: I have the kids Sunday evening through Thursday morning. Lindsay has them Thursday evening through Sunday. We split holidays and school breaks. It is working well. The kids have stability with both parents, and the schedule gives everyone breathing room. Lindsay had to get her first real job at 39, with no work history. She is working at a marketing firm making about a third of what I make. The reality of supporting herself after 15 years of financial security has been harsh. She moved into a smaller apartment across town and sees Blake less frequently. Sarah got primary custody of their boys and a significant portion of his business assets. He has discovered that middle-aged romance is expensive when you are paying alimony and child support to multiple families. The kids are adjusting well. Sophia's thriving with the stability, made honor roll last semester and joined the debate team. She is old enough to understand that sometimes relationships don't work out, and seems relieved that the tension in our house is gone. Tyler had a harder time initially, but he is doing better now. He likes having 2 bedrooms and gets excited about the different activities we do at each house. Last week he told me he was glad I seemed happy again. Kids notice more than we think they do. Amber and I have been spending more time together over the past few months. What started as friendship during my crisis has slowly grown into something deeper. She is patient with my trust issues, understands the complexities of co-parenting, and never pushes for more than I am ready to give. We are taking things slow. Both of us have been through messy divorces, and we are in no rush. Both care to replace their mom, just treats them with kindness and respect. I got promoted to senior engineering manager last month. Turns out when you are not constantly stressed about your home life imploding, you can actually focus on career advancement. The pay increase will help with the transition to single-parent expenses. Lindsay tried apologizing a few weeks ago during a kid pickup. I know, I destroyed everything good in my life, she said. I was selfish and stupid. I threw away the best man I will ever have for a teenage fantasy. I appreciated the honesty, but some damage cannot be undone. I don't hate you, I told her, but I cannot trust you. And without trust, we are just two people who share children. I think she finally understands the magnitude of what she threw away. But understanding doesn't fix 15 years of deception. The hardest part is seeing her struggle financially and socially. Despite everything, we shared 15 years and 2 children. Watching her work retail and live in a studio apartment isn't satisfying. It is just sad. But actions have consequences, and she chose this path.